More and more, life is teaching me that everything you want is much closer than it seems. Whether it's the body, the discipline, the confidence, the success, it's right there. But most people still think that it's far away. But when you they think because they look at where they are and where they want to be, and they feel like the gap is impossible. But this is why most people stop. You're not realizing that if you change, if not realizing that within 3 months, 6 months, or you're just one breakthrough away from changing your whole life. One of the things that I like is there's a book called 3 Feet Away from Gold, and I even have that picture up to let me know to never stop quitting. Just keep going. You're one yes away, or just one circumstance away for accomplishing your goals. So, if this is your first time at my channel, it's Alchemy Fitness, where we transfer you from lead to gold, where we build not only strong bodies but strong minds and spirit as well. All right. So today we're talking about what stops people from reaching their goal. Of course, I have my notes in front of me, so if I look down, it's not because I'm afraid of making eye contact. All right, but you know, the belief that success story is really far away, but in reality, most people are really closer than what they think. All right, so I study nature a lot. So one of the things that I do, I like to look at farmers. That's what they call they planting seeds. You don't reap it right there, but it's within a season. If you look at, like I said, nature, there's 4 seasons in a year. We know that it's consistent, but within 3 months, it changes the way we feel, temperature wise, of course. Here in New York, we just had a snowstorm, right? Now we're shifting into spring. The winter months are gone. It's still kind of, what I mean? It's still kind of cool or cold, but we know spring is right around the corner. So if we just keep being consistent, our seasons will change, similar to the planet, right? Where it dips to the sun. All right. So when it comes to fitness, some people think they need years before they see results. But what they don't realize is that your body starts to change the moments you change your habits. And that's what it's really about, too. Like I tell clients all the time, just do this. If they follow 10% of what I'm saying, and those that actually do, they change their bodies. That's why I always say take pictures. That's one marker that you can use, right? But if you train consistently for like 12 months, get on your diet, your nutrition, and get enough sleep, your body's going to adapt. And that's the beautiful thing about our bodies. Like after it gets used to a certain kind of environment or stress, it adapts and it's like, oh, I've been here before and it knows what to do. But the problem is we're not patient enough. We want the Amazon Prime or the microwave results when it comes to our body or accomplishing our goals. And that's why it doesn't work. We don't stick to a plan long enough to see the results. So we get frustrated and be like, oh, this is not working. And we quit. Like I said, picture that the picture about the 3 feet from gold, where the guy's digging the gold and he's just like literally 3 feet. He just kept going. He'll get attain the reward of his hard work, But most people turn away when they're right there. You see it all the time too, even when clients with reps. They're like, no, push to 12 or whatever the number is. And they have it in them, but the pain is just too much. They're like, oh no, I gotta drop it. I'm like, yo, you just right there just to push past your comfort zone, you know? And this is what it really is the difference between those who succeeds and those who don't. It's not really so much about talent, just being persistent and consistent in what you're doing, And it's just and to be honest with you, you don't have to do anything major or drastic, you know, in the sense where it's just a few daily decisions that you make, just small habits, and then those habits that you change are compound interest because you keep building upon those and you end up building a house. That's why we say brick by brick. One of the things I like to do, for those who don't know, if you follow me on IG, is that I like to do puzzles. Right? I haven't done some in a while, but I heard someone say this and it put a perspective to me when I do puzzles or just looking at life in general. In order to complete the puzzle, you have to look at the whole picture, right? But if you know anything about puzzles, it's pieces by piece and you start to put things together. So that's how you have to look at your life too, especially when it comes to whether it's fitness or business or going to school, it's the same thing. So when it comes to fitness, you got to choose to train when you're tired. Eat that meal instead of junk. Like, for example, I have a sweet tooth, right? But over the years, my palate kind of changed a little bit, but I still like sweets, but not as much. What I'll do, I'll swap them out. I'll do dry fruits, or I'll just eat regular fruits then, and my body will thank me. Therefore, I ain't got to worry about my teeth falling out that much anymore. Anyways, but that's another story. But I don't have to worry about going to the dentist as well. I still go to the dentist as much, but those little things with cavities, bad health, and oral health is very important. Just a sidebar. If you're not going to the dentist, you need to go to the dentist at least once a year, because a lot of your diseases start from your mouth, because that's where your food actually goes. And sometimes if you're not flossing, food end up getting stuck in your mouth, and then especially if you eat meat, pause. If you eat meat, it rots in your mouth. That's why people be having bad breath. They'll be brushing every day, but you're not flossing. So you gotta floss, right? And then also too, this is when you choose discipline over comfort, right? So these small habits build momentum, and then what that does, you get into what Napoleon Hill talks about, hypnotic rhythm. I have mentioned this before in previous videos, but the hypnotic rhythm begins to change, and therefore you can change your outcome, and you become no longer a drifter, right? So if you get that book, Outwitting the Devil, he talks about that. It's a very good book. You should add that to your collection. So think about within 90 days how you look just by making a small change, right? Or even 120 days. That's why most fitness programs are usually 3 to 4 months, because that's when you can see a good amount of change. You know what I'm saying? And then also it really begins in the mind. So your mindset begins to change too as well. And that's really the secret sauce. Sometimes we think it's something complicated or some deep answer. And now sometimes it's just really that simple. I like to call it the complexity of simplicity, because we always think it's like some magic potion. It's like, no, just do this. And that's it. I do it all the time with my clients. I'm like, no, just do X, Y, Z. You sure? I'm like, come on, I do that. You know what I mean? Tris did that. So hopefully you don't have to go through that. So once they do it and they follow at least 10% what I'm saying, they see the results, you know, oh, that's all I had to do. I'm like, yeah, I've been telling you that, but hey, what do I know? So another thing too that handicaps us, I believe, although it's a good marketing tool, is social media, because we think that transformation happens overnight. But real transformation is really quiet and it's boring. Showing up to the gym when nobody's watching. And that's who you really are. Who is it's what you do when no one's looking. That's who you are. That's who you showing up with. There's no cameras there. When you gotta get those reps in, it's like when they say you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. That's when you see in the dark, right? Like they give the reference to a camera working with the negatives, make a better picture, right? When there's no one in the room with you, meaning the gym or the environment. When you're putting in those reps, where you're shooting, where you're studying for that exam, whether you're exercising or training, then when the season come around, then you pop out and show. But no one was there when you were actually putting in that work before the preparation. It's like the tip of the iceberg kind of thing, right? So also when you're working like that, it gives you a structure. That's what people don't see. Right? Whether you're going to bed, you're planning your meals, you have a proper training program, all these things work together. That's part of the puzzle that you're putting together. See, you came back around full circle, right? And that's how you change. Also, too, we have to start thinking. If you read the book Psycho Cybernetics, I forgot the author's name, it's about seeing yourself, your future self, and in reverse and backwards. So these things that you're doing is getting you towards where you want to be. So that's how you have to look at it. So already get into that mind of who you are. Act like you got the body now, but you're putting in the work to maintain it. Like it's kind of like a mind hack kind of thing. I would tell clients, the body that you want, or if you see somebody who you admire, cut a picture. They used to laugh. I was like, cut a picture of that person and put your head on their body and look at that picture every day. It's almost like a vision board kind of, but you still want to build your best body, but you get the picture of what I'm saying, right? So when you start acting like that, you start becoming that. I remember when I used to do a temp assignment, I worked at this hotel, and I don't know if it was a 5-star hotel, but probably like 4-star, but close enough. It was relatively reputable hotel, and I end up conversing with a young man there. At the time, he was a chef. Some of the food was pre-made, and some was by scratch. But he was like, this was just his step up or his start off because he really wanted to work at a high end restaurant as a chef and become a head chef. So, but he said, I already have to put myself in the mode that I am that. So when I get there, it's a smooth transition. So he's like playing around, tapping his creativity while he's making the food. And you have to do the same thing in what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, right? Because these habits here are building the future you. So you want to have like your future self looking back at you, smiling and saying thank you. So it's about the compound interest, right? So every workout, every meal, right? Every rep, the time you go to sleep, this is for your future self to thank you, right? Because life is about evolution, or the opposite way. It's either you evolving. What's the other word? Opposite for not devolving. I don't think that's it, but you get the drift, right? So you want to keep consistent, keep pushing forward, and evolving, becoming the best version of yourself, and that's how you do it, right? So my conclusion, everything you want in life, the body, the mindset, the discipline, your confidence, it's usually the season of consistency, and that's what you want to stay with. Like I said, we know when the seasons of the earth is going to change. We have approximate because it's consistent. So we know going into December, end of November, December, January, February, a little bit of March is winter. Then we transition into spring. The earth is, the planet rather, is consistent with the seasons and the time that it changes. We should be the same thing as well, right? And when the more consistent we are, things are going to change because we're building new habits as well. All right. So don't be that person that's stuck in their ways, so to speak. Because like they say, you can't pour new wineskin in old wine. No, new wine in old wineskin lest the flask breaks. Right. So you want to be that new person. So you start by doing something new to get a better result. All right. So keep going, keep being consistent, and like I said, don't think about how hard it is, because it's going to be difficult, especially when you're starting out. And in 3 months, you could change your whole life. Seriously. I will talk about that in another topic, even how I became a personal trainer. I think I did a video on that as well, but nevertheless, let me stay on topic. But if this video resonates with you, like, comment, subscribe, and even share it with someone that you think that can benefit from what we spoke about today. And remember, we just not building bodies, we building better people. That's what we want. All right. So we transfer from there to gold. If you're looking for a training program to get you right in the next 90 to 120 days, click the link in my bio and set up a call, and let's see if we can help you. And once again, this is Alchemy Fitness signing off. Train hard, train smart, and train safe. Peace.